Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Casper. I'm the head of marketing at Blackbaud Europe, leading provider of fundraising software to the charity sector. It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. That is an extremely tough act to follow, and 7 minutes is going to be a hell of a challenge, but I'll do my best. So because I'm a B2B marketer, I don't get to do a load of the really cool experiential B2C marketing. Makes me extremely jealous, and so I'm going to live vicariously for the next 6.5 minutes and explain to you a really cool experiential campaign. I'm also a bit of a wildlife geek, and I'm a long-term supporter of WWF, and that led me to wanting to briefly explain to you an experiential campaign that WWF ran. And for the avoidance of doubt, this is the wildlife conservation. My 7 minutes on fat men in Lycra attempting to beat each other up is my other WWF presentation. I'm willing to give you a private audience of that. The presentation, not the fat men in... Anyway. So WWF were addressing two challenges. The first one, every single person in this room will be addressing, which is the, dare I say, saturated, hopefully not, certainly a very crowded fundraising marketplace in the UK at the moment, something like one charity for every 300 individuals in the UK. And for all of us, cut through is a massive challenge. Secondly, more specific to WWF, a lot of the extremely good, very important work that they're doing in the world happens in far-flung corners of the planet, and it's tremendously difficult for them to sometimes demonstrate the impact of their work on the ground to potential new supporters in the UK. And so they wanted to address this problem by bringing the work to the UK and demonstrating it on the ground. For the uninitiated, what is experiential marketing? Well, it's not content marketing. Creating content that can be consumed online or through TV or through apps is in a slightly different category. Experiential marketing is putting an individual in an immersive branded experience to really build that affinity, build that closeness with the brand. And for that reason, it really has to be something you can physically interact with. And whilst it can be harder to track conversions for an experiential campaign, even more so than a content marketing campaign, and goodness knows how difficult that can be, the data is starting to show that experiential has a really close connection to one of the most important metrics, that of lifetime supporter value. Essentially, kick off the relationship with something really cool that they're physically interacting with, really memorable, and it might cost you, but that can pay dividends for years to come. The example on the screen, Google were launching a new app, and they had a truck in Austin that was dispensing Google-branded cupcakes. Kind of experiential, kind of googly. Zappo, the disruptive e-commerce platform, set up an experiential platform across the street. Their box asked users to put the Google cupcake into it, and in return they got a much cooler Zappo-branded gift. Watches, wallets, gift vouchers, and that kind of thing. So we have a couple of examples of experiential. We also have, to me, the first known example of experiential trolling, which I think is quite cool. Probably the best billboard in the world. I'm not just experiencing the brand through my eyes, but I'm experiencing the brand by being literally immersed in their beer. One of my particularly favourite examples. So that's a billboard that dispenses the product. Back to the plot. So WWF, it was part of their thumbs up for tigers campaign, which works on the principle that no two thumbprints are alike and no two tiger stripes are alike. And the experiential element was launched in 2 Westfield shopping centres initially. They set up, as you can see here, this really cool jungle experience, this jungle environment, far more than just a banner and some leaflets. A ranger would bring them in. This ranger is a fully trained up brand ambassador, takes them on a journey, a literal pathway, not the kind of user pathway that Ponzi marketers like me like to bang on about, a physical pathway. And this would show them the effect that tiger poaching is having on tiger populations. They would learn facts about tigers, how perilously close to extinction they are, the rapid decline in numbers over recent decades, and so on. And then they'd get a little bit physical, a little bit touchy-feely by handling some of the equipment that the tiger rangers use in the field. These are the folks who are protecting tigers from poachers, defending wildlife reserves, tremendously dangerous, quite hard to connect with, so this is starting to bring that physical element into play. And then the climax. At the end of the journey, the literal journey, the user would get the chance to try out virtual reality, a truly, totally immersive experience with sound as well, really taking that individual into the tiger's world as if the consumer is inside the forest through this 360-degree virtual reality environment. They'd be guided through a journey through this forest in Nepal. They'd go through a number of different sections in the forest, eventually being introduced to the tiger and a tiger cub, smart move, and then introduce the topic of poaching. And of course, at the end, the call to action, they're encouraged to adopt a tiger. WWF knew they had to expand the audience for this. So once they've proved the concept, they want to take it on the road. And what they did here was really clever. So obviously they invested quite a lot in this experience. It's modular. They can break it up and take it to multiple locations at once. So it can be in a school and a place of work and a train station and another shopping centre to really maximise the audience and the investment. And of course, they amplified it to a digital audience. I'll come on to that in a second. There are 3 key things to finish that I really loved about this campaign and why I wish I'd thought of it. It's genuinely engaging on the day. I first signed up to be a regular donor to WWF in a horrendous shopping centre in High Wycombe, where my daughter saw a fuzzy polar bear on a stand and a bloke who was somewhere in between chugger and brand ambassador, but veering towards the chugger end of the scale, managed to convince me to sign up for a direct debit. Maybe I'm a soft touch, but if that has legs, if that proves some sort of conversion, I think something like this that's 10 times more engaging can have, let's say, 10 times the amount of impact, possibly orders of magnitude above. I have literally no idea why that slide is there. It might be to demonstrate how totally immersive the experience is. Immersive, the word has lost all meaning. I mentioned digital amplification. So WWF understood that, yes, it's a great experience, but it's a tremendously heavy investment in just 1 or 2 shopping centres that, large though they are, do have a limited footfall. So consumers at the end of the experience can share a photo booth picture with the hashtag thumbs up for tigers. And now when I'm on my sofa in the evening scrolling through the thumbs up for tigers feed, yes, I'm seeing some pictures of tigers and some supportive tweets. But what I'm also now seeing is people who are physically engaging with the brand, and they've put their picture of that on. For me, that is telling a tremendously important part of the story and encouraging people sitting on their sofa at night that there is a movement out there, a physical movement. There is something to get involved with, and it's really making that tangible in a way that a non-experiential campaign, it's an angle that they just wouldn't have. And as you can see, if it's good enough for world #1 ball hitter Andy Murray and Pop Idol 2002 winner / Strictly dropout Will Young, it's got to be a campaign with legs. I'm out of time. This is my last slide. By the way, this is the image you get if you Google Tiger Value Exchange, so you can work out who's exchanging what there. Obviously, this is a really heavy investment, but it's vital for any brand involved in marketing to find a way to cut through the noise, that big challenge I talked about at the start. We are all pummeled with more and more and more marketing messages every single day. Not just charities competing with charities, but you're competing against all the consumer brands out there as well. As a B2B marketer, I know that I need to use content marketing. I need to give value in exchange for even expecting the audience's attention. That's my challenge, and it's your challenge as well. So what this campaign does is it takes the content marketing manifesto and makes it experiential. The value in this case is an interesting, enjoyable education experience during yet another deathly dull shopping trip being dragged from shoe shop to shoe shop by my wife. And that is why I wish I'd thought of it.